sure if I need the pillow. All right. Can you hear me? Okay, all right.
Scared of that guy, huh? James sent me this song before inviting James to the platform. He sent a series of possible areas of questions, and one of the questions was, if you know, what would be the song of your life? And he sent me a YouTube video of this idea that this is an extraordinary life. Enjoy today, come what may. This is an extraordinary life. And you know what, James? That's what I know about your journey. It's been extraordinary. And so we're going to focus today on pretty much anything you want to talk about. You've done a lot of stuff. You are remarkable. You are a remarkably brilliant person. And you've done so many things. And at the same time, within that, who you are, at the very core of your being, is an incredible, incredible energy. So I know that you said that your spiritual path is as a mystic.
Yeah.
Beyond all the things that you study about, write about, read about. And I remember one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on the platform today in particular is because when you shared with us your journey with Corrie ten Boom, as a young child, she came into your life when you were, what, about 8?
Yeah, she came into my life in 1974. So I guess that would be 8, right? Yeah, long story, really short, just to give it a synopsis. You heard about Corrie ten Boom. I just want to say a few extra words and how that pertains to my life. As mentioned before, Corrie ten Boom, she was a survivor of the Holocaust. And what she went through was extraordinary. She was a member of the Dutch Underground. She saved Jews on a regular basis, and in many cases she would go and even save Jewish babies and had that all arranged as well. And at a certain point, she created a place in her bedroom that was a secret hiding place for Jews to go in case the Nazis should come into the household. At a certain point, unfortunately, she was betrayed by a friend, and she was placed into a concentration camp. And at that concentration camp, she was with her sister, and her sister died in her arms as a result of the terrible conditions at this death camp. And she was actually released because of a clerical error. She was designated to be a guest within the next couple weeks. They found the lists and so forth. She came home to a situation where her father died in the Holocaust, her sister died in the Holocaust, and her brother died in relations to the Holocaust as well, to the concentration camp. And what happened is that rather than be angry about it, rather than feel betrayed, she decided that she was going to forgive instead. And what she did, first of all, is that she found those people who were Germans who were helpful, and she made a list of those people on the inside and tried to get them saved from execution from Queen Wilhelmina. Yet she's considered at the same time as a hero to the Jews. In fact, she saved so many. There is a tree at Yad Vashem dedicated to her as one of the righteous. And yet at the same time, she chose to forgive the Germans. She turned a concentration camp into a German rehabilitation camp, complete with flowers and so forth. I'll get to my story. Don't worry. What happened is that she learned to forgive even the person that was involved in her sister's death, and gave him a big hug of forgiveness, ultimate forgiveness. Now, what happened with me is, now this is where we're getting to.
This is what I want to get into,
right.
Because she came into your life at a critical point in your experience because...
Because I was in a situation where I was having to need to forgive. What had happened to me now...
Thank you.
is that in kindergarten, I was a very... the best thing to put it is I was a very delicate child and very extra sensitive, and because of that sensitivity and creativity, I was considered extremely odd. I would, memorize all the California missions and rattle them off, and I memorized all the dinosaurs in Latin, and I would, go off and off and off. But they thought I was completely crazy, nuts.
You flunked kindergarten, right?
I flunked kindergarten. I actually flunked kindergarten because I didn't behave in the way that I should. But unfortunately, the kindergarten teacher was abusive. Not only verbally abusive, but physically abusive. And the other kids took their cue from her behavior, and as a result, she applauded them when they would be mean to me, to the point where I was beat up so often I learned to run home all the time. Unfortunately, that teacher, her friends were all other fellow teachers, and there's a lot of damage that's done, especially amongst teachers during lunch period of time, and so they all take notes of one another. And as a result, I received the same kind of endorsement of that kind of abuse through second and first grade, second grade, third, fourth, and so forth. And so it followed me wherever I was. My grades were always really far down. My ego, I had no ego. It was shattered. And at certain times, I just didn't want to live anymore. To the point where everybody talks about the moment where I had a meltdown on the sandbox of all places, where I just started hitting myself and just saying, I want to die. And I was taken to the principal's office, and the counselor told me, just hit them back. You've got to hit them back. Hit those bullies back. And I said, I can't. I said, I think it was 8 or 9 at the time. I said, I can't. Because I just can't do that. I think that's wrong. I can never do it. At that moment is when Corey entered my life. And so it was at that moment where she said it was okay to not hit them back. It was okay to forgive them. Forgive what they did, what they were doing to me. And that was a hard lesson, but it did change my life. Because see, the thing is, she put it this way, this is why I brought up the earlier story, is that if she could forgive the Germans who killed her sister, her father, her brother, forgive the man that was involved in the death of her sister, go out and be proactive to help other people. If she could do that, I could forgive just a bunch of bullies. I could forgive those who abused me. I could forgive my teacher. It's always funny that on my Facebook, I have all my former bullies as friends. It's like, it's just like, hey, there's that guy, he's commenting, thumbs up, and thinking, well, you know what? I forgave him. If that makes sense.
So Corey,
thank you.
Corey came into your experience and she validated who you were. I liked one of the things you said that she helped you understand that it was okay for you to have your natural dispositions and inclinations that didn't quite fit with the Christian belief system that you were steeped in.
Yes.
That you were acceptable in God's eyes. Talk about that a little bit.
Because I was an odd child, what happened is I found my spirituality so much in nature, to the point where I created a clubhouse in my backyard. My parents said, you can't use any nails. So I created a clubhouse, a big one, without any use of nails, just balancing everything out when I was 8, 9 years old, complete with electricity. It was sheltered, everything, yeah. And I would go out there, I was in the back bushes. It's amazing what you do with also chicken wire. Stolen from my mom's tomato plants. But the point is that is that I would go in there, and it was within the bushes as well. I would go in there and I could commune in nature, and that was odd. That was considered very odd because to me, I found God within nature, in the trees and in the ocean and so forth. Well, the interesting thing is Corey was the same way. Corey, most people don't know, Corey was very much a lover of nature and saw God in nature to the point where that's what kept her going sometimes in the concentration camp. She would look out the window and she would see the tree, or she would talk to the ants coming into the cell. I mean, this was just what she was about. And she found validation of God, of the divine, through the attributes within the natural world. And so we identified immediately because of that, because she also had a mystical sensibility, is the best thing to put it. And I also had a mystical sensibility. And what happened is when I would feel something or experience something or see something, she would say, "You saw that too?" I say, "Yeah." So I'll never close that door. And as a child, I thought to myself, okay, I'm not going to close that door. And I think that many children learn to close that door of spirituality. I learned to keep it open, and it's still open to this day because of her.
Jane, let me ask you, do you think that you had a near-death experience when you were an infant, about what, 1.5 years old?
1.5.
Do you think that near-death experience that you had at that point in your life opened up some of those channels and gave you that sort of a permeable filter for this sensitivity?
Absolutely, actually. That near-death experience, obviously I don't remember it. It was my parents, bless their hearts, they had me being taken care of in Ohio at the time, and these people were basically there's a lot of mosquitoes, and they just bit me from head to toe, to the point where I became so ill because of allergic reaction, so bad off that I had trouble breathing, I couldn't eat anything, and I got to such a state that my parents, the doctor says, just take him home. I mean, that's like, it's, in those days, it's like, it's over. And somehow I was able to revitalize. And that's one experience where I just see the world differently. As a result, I felt like I crossed over to the other side. The reason why I'm saying that is because when I was 17, I had another near-death experience. And this one was this is really bad. Long story, really short. I know I tell long stories. And that is that we thought it would be fun to take a gigantic army raft out into the waves. It was, of course, hurricane season. And so the waves are big. And, of course, army rafts can take quite a bit, right? But there's a lot of ropes involved with army raft. And what happens is this huge wave came, and the entire army raft got engulfed in the wave, and then it slammed down, and I got caught in all the ropes. And so I actually lost consciousness under there. I was drowning. I remember the water coming in. I remember the pain in your heart, right here, the whole 9 yards. So eventually, I was on the beach. One of my friends saved my life. But that was, I mean, it's a near-death experience because you see a light in the whole 9 yards. I mean, that's pretty. And after that, when I was 17, after that, my mystical experiences just rose up like you cannot believe, to where I see or experience or feel something every single day and from hour to hour all the time. So to the point where I'm a scholar and I have to rationally figure out what's going on in the mystical side. It's like, because I'm very much into education. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm seeing this. How do you explain this? I try to be logical about it. And so I have this dualistic fight constantly going where I see things, experience things, and yet my logical mind says, no, it can't happen. It can't be, if that makes sense.
So these experiences of this sort of breakdown of the filter that keeps us blocked to some of these more fragile and ethereal things, that breakdown has given you not only your brilliance, but it's also given you an attitude toward your life experience as a whole.
Right.
Talk about what you think your purpose is, besides helping people learn ancient Greek and besides digging up wonderful things. I have a list here. I mean, you're a man who has met presidents, explored off-limit places, walked through a minefield by mistake and made it, slept in sarcophaguses, married somebody that was connected to the Colombian drug cartel, and survived.
That's true. That's very true.
You're a father of a teenage daughter currently, and you've been divorced. You teach ancient Greek, and you have had so many experiences. But all of that is what you've done. Now, all of that has informed who you are today. So what is your purpose? What do you have, after all of this, what have you decided is your purpose?
Well, I mean, asking a person, there's a bigger purpose of life, and then there's a smaller purpose of life. I mean, in the realm of a direct smaller purpose of life, so to speak, is that for me or the plant? As far as the smaller purpose of life, what I believe is that I know I'm a historian, I'm a professor of religion and archaeology. My PhD is in those areas, so I'm trained to do that. But the reason why I went in depth is because I believe that we can learn from the past and the psychology and personality of who we are in the past in order to understand who we are right now, and then be able to forecast who we will be in the future, how we will evolve. And so history is a great realm of examples to inspire others to become better people. In fact, there are civilizations in many cases that are a little bit better than ours, believe it or not, like the Minoans, for example. So we learn about societies in the past to empower us for today. So I use it as an example, but the beauty is it's evidential. It's not just me talking about what I believe or what I want or what I wish for. What I do is I give actual historical examples of great human beings, of great societies, of great ideas that will inspire others right now. And it's proof. And I love to have evidence of the spiritual progression of humanity, if that makes sense. That's why I do what I do.
So that's your purpose
So
at a human level.
At a human level. At a spiritual level, I believe that by example of living the life every moment, every second at a time is the best kind of life, and I want to give that as an example to others, if that makes sense. See, the situation is that I see right now. Here we are, right? And I know many of us are thinking, hey, you know what? What am I going to eat for lunch? I think I'm going to take a nap afterwards. Or, I'm telling the truth here. When is he going to finish talking? The point is we need to stop and live in this moment, because it's an entire universe in and of itself to explore. Breathing, the beautiful decorations, the feeling of passion, the flowers here. On the way here, you can get in trouble. I was told the light was green, but I was paying attention to a bird that was flying by. But it's enjoying the moment, living in that moment, because that moment there's an eternity. I believe that so many of us live in a dot-to-dot existence. We're so busy trying to get to the next dot that we forget about living within the lines. I'm all about living in the lines, living in the details in a spiritual sense. And I hope that I can help infect others to feel the same way.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job with me.
Oh, okay.
I want to let you know that when we were making our plans to move to a new location, at that time it wasn't this location, it was a different location. But James says, what would you think about putting a fireplace on the platform? And I said, what a plan. So you can thank James for even the decor of Common Ground. So James, I want to thank you. I think we could all spend about a couple hours listening to what you have to share, because your life is remarkable. You've done some remarkable things. You've met remarkable people. You have remarkable interests. You are truly one of the you have a breadth of interest that is remarkable.
Thank you.
All the way from the music that you listen to the music that you write, to all of that. And I think that the song that you chose as the song for your life is so right on. You know this is an extraordinary life.
Yeah.
And you understand that the whole idea is to seize this moment, enjoy today for what it offers. And I just celebrate you and thank you for sharing
Thank
today.
you. Thank you very much.